Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between vast fields and thick forests, lived a girl named Bola. She shared a tiny, worn down hut with her blind grandmother. Life had never been kind to them. They had no farm, no animals, and barely enough to eat. Every day, Bola wandered the village, begging for scraps, but most villagers turned her away, some with disdain, others with indifference. The only person who showed her kindness was Baba Deji, a humble farmer. Though he was not wealthy, he always set aside a small portion of his harvest for Bola. Then, one fateful year, a relentless drought struck the land. The rivers ran dry, crops withered, and animals perished. Hunger gripped the village like an unrelenting shadow, and the few who had food hoarded it desperately. Even Baba Deji had nothing left to give. Bola returned home one evening, her stomach aching from hunger, only to find her grandmother weak and trembling. The sight shattered her heart. Desperation gnawed at her as she whispered to herself, "What can I do?" That night, unable to bear it any longer, she made a decision. She would venture into the forest in search of food. The forest was dark and foreboding, but Bola pressed on, her bare feet silent against the earth. She searched and searched, but there was nothing. Defeated, she sank to the ground and wept. Then, through her sobs, she began to hum a song, an old lullaby her grandmother used to sing. Her soft voice echoed through the trees. Suddenly, a voice emerged from the darkness. "Why do you cry, child?" Bola gasped. Before her stood an old man, his face weathered but kind. Though fear prickled her skin, she told him everything: the famine, the suffering, her grandmother's pain. The man listened intently, then gestured to a pair of simple sandals resting beside a rock. "These are magic sandals," he said. "Whenever you desire something, sing the song you just sang and make your wish. But heed my warning, never wear them and never reveal their secret, or grave consequences will follow." Bola hesitated, but when she looked up to thank the man, he had vanished. Clutching the sandals, she ran home. Her grandmother lay groaning in pain, her breathing shallow. Without hesitation, Bola placed the sandals before her and sang. "I wish for food," she whispered. In an instant, baskets of yams, plantains, vegetables, and fresh fruits appeared before her. Tears streamed down her face as she quickly prepared a meal. After feeding her grandmother, she rushed to Baba Deji's hut, offering him food. He stared at the feast, bewildered. "Bola, how did you get all this?" he asked. She only laughed and told him to eat. From that day on, Bola and her grandmother never went hungry. Each time food ran out, she sang, and the sandals granted her wish. Though the village starved, their little hut was always filled with abundance. One evening, as Bola walked through the village, she heard someone crying. Following the sound, she found Binta, the daughter of Madame Bimbo, the very woman who had once mocked Bola's suffering. Binta had been cruel to Bola in the past. She had tossed food to her dogs instead of sharing it with her. Yet now Binta sat in the dirt, her body weak, her eyes hollow with hunger. Bola hesitated, but then without a word, she turned and ran home, returning with baskets of food. Binta and her family devoured the meal without so much as a thank you. But that night, curiosity gnawed at them. How had Bola obtained so much food? Determined to uncover her secret, Binta and her sister crept to Bola's hut and peered through a crack in the window. They watched as Bola sang to the sandals, and in an instant, the room filled with food. Eyes wide with greed, they raced home to tell their mother. That night, under the cover of darkness, Binta and her family stole into Bola's house. She and her grandmother were fast asleep. With trembling hands, Binta grabbed the sandals and hurried home. The moment they arrived, she slipped them onto her feet. "Magic sandals, magic sandals! Give us plenty of food!" she chanted. Nothing happened. She tried again and again, but still nothing. Then a terrible sensation spread across her body, an unbearable heat. followed by an itching so intense that she screamed. Before their horrified eyes, boils erupted across Binta's skin. Her mother and sister, who had also touched the sandals, shrieked as the same fate befell them. The sandals vanished from their hands and reappeared in Bola's room as if they had never been taken. By morning, the entire village had gathered to see Binta and her family writhing in pain. But they refused to admit what they had done. For if they confessed, the village's strict laws dictated they would have to dance naked in the town square as punishment for stealing. And so they suffered in silence. As Bola stood watching, a thought struck her. Could the sandals do more? Could they end the famine? With newfound determination, she rushed home and sang once more. I wish for rain, she whispered. Dark clouds gathered. A soft drizzle turned into a heavy downpour. The earth drank deeply, and soon fresh green sprouts broke through the barren land. Rivers swelled, and animals returned. The famine had ended. From that day forward, the village never went hungry again. And as for Bola, she and her grandmother lived in peace, their kindness repaid in ways they never expected. The lesson: life is unpredictable. Wealth, power, and misfortune can change hands in an instant. Always be kind, for the way you treat others today may shape your tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. It helps grow our channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in our next story.